I don't know about you, but have you ever been in a situation where you wondered, when is this ever going to end? Or I'm in a situation in trouble where I can never get out of this. There's no hope for me. Well, I want you to know Jesus is not only the end, He's the beginning. In the book of Revelation, it speaks of Him as the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And I want you to know He's the beginning of all things. He's the end of all things. If you want to know the beginning and the end, it's all in Jesus. Jesus is in the book of Genesis. Jesus is in the book of Revelation. He's the first. He's the last. I tell you what, and you say, what does that mean? What all does that imply for me? Well, I want you to know it means a lot for you, and it means a lot for me. For you see, so many times what happens is that in our lives, we get into situations where we think there's no hope, no end to it. But just remember this, Jesus was there before you were. And Jesus will be there after you're gone, because He is the first. He is the last. He is the beginning. He is the end. He knows the beginning and He knows the end. A number of years ago, I was going to Romania, and as I was flying from the United States to Europe, my heart was just really, really heavy, because I just sensed there was something special about that particular trip. I didn't know that I would be arrested. When I arrived at the Romanian border, I was taken off the train and I was surrounded by soldiers. And this was during the days of communism and Ceausescu, and where Christians were persecuted severely. And I didn't know what was going to happen to me. And in that moment, it seemed so drear and so dread. And I remember just thinking to myself, will I ever see my family again? Will I see my Romanian friends again? Will I go to prison? Will they kill me? What will happen to me? And then a song began to rise in my heart, one of the great hymns of the faith, and it goes like this: great is your faithfulness, great is your faithfulness, O Lord my God. And I want you to know something. I saw God in that moment in His faithfulness, and I saw Him as the Alpha and the Omega, that He was there before I arrived, He would be there after I left, and that He had everything under control. This was just a moment, but He was the one who writes history, because He is there before history was ever written, and He will be there after history is written. And so I prayed, and I said, oh God, I trust You. And you know what happened when I got my eyes on Jesus as the Alpha and Omega? All the discouragement left. Joy began to flood my soul. Joy began to fill my heart. Peace came into me, and the peace that passes all human understanding began to flood my soul and my mind. And do you know what happened? I was released the next day, put out of the country, told I'd never be allowed back in the country. But within a year, there was a revolution in the country. I went back in, and I want to tell you what I saw, the glory of God. And I remember as I entered that country, at that very spot where they told me, you will never be allowed back in this country, I knelt and prayed and gave glory and honor and praise to Jesus Christ. Yes, it's true. He is the Alpha. He is the Omega. He is the beginning and the end. Don't ever forget it. If you're in a tough situation, remember who He is, the Alpha and the Omega.